Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening to welcome our first Her Story Award event for January 2024. I am your host, Adia Lancaster. It is a pleasure and honor to be with you here this evening. You know, this is my third time emceeing this event, and it doesn't cease to amaze me the precious gems of women that are recognized at this award ceremony. It is just so inspiring to know that we have such incredible women working all over our nation, giving back to their communities, leading their communities, bringing hope, bringing peace to their communities. It is such an incredible just space to be in. And again, it is just an honor to be a part of this event that really recognizes these women for leading and being those peacemakers that we need in our community so much now in our society today. The video was wonderful. That is new. I hope you all enjoyed it. I think there's a little bit more to it, but I want to bring up to this electronic stage our president of Women's Federation for World Peace USA, Ms. Kayleigh Moffitt, to introduce more about GWPN and the Her Story Award. So please welcome Kayleigh Moffitt.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but I'm so excited to continue this tradition of our monthly Her Story Awards. You know, of course, the name of this program is a play on the idea of history, which has told a lot of stories of men who have made a difference in the world. But we, as Women's Federation for World Peace, really want to especially honor the women who have been contributing to a more peaceful and harmonious world. And oftentimes, you know, the women that we meet through these kinds of awards programs are not women who are actually seeking recognition. They do this because out of their own volition, out of their own calling in their hearts, they want to make a difference in their community and in their wider society and in their homes. And I think that's the true touch of women, is that women have this ability to naturally seek out a more harmonious and peaceful state. And so if you saw from the video, we really believe that the woman's touch and the woman's perspective is essential in peace building. And if we can bring that kind of perspective into the conversation, we will see more long-lasting peace. So I absolutely love these monthly programs, and it's every time I walk out of this hearing from such amazing women who have their stories to tell, their wisdom to share with others. And I know all of us who attend these programs walk out really feeling more motivated and empowered to continue trying to do the work that we're doing in our life. And there's a particular quote from the founder of this organization, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, whom we lovingly refer to as Mother Moon. And this is from her memoir. This is her memoir, Mother of Peace. She talks a lot about the unique role about women. This is from a chapter that says, the mother builds the family and the family builds the world. And so in particular, she's highlighting the unique role that women need to play at this time. So she says here, the world of the future can be a world of reconciliation and peace, but only if it is based on the maternal love and affection of women. This is the true power of womanhood. The time has come for the power of true womanhood to save the world. So this program today is all about honoring women who are bringing true womanhood forward and saving the world, as Mother Moon has said. So I'm really excited to meet all of you, and I will hand it back to you, Adia. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayleigh. All right, let's get started. I would like to introduce our first awardee for this evening, Luann McKeefery. She's lead emergency prep and resilience group from the Alameda County Committee of Restoration. Luann is a compassionate and dedicated community leader who began her journey in 1968, inspired by a local church carnival to raise funds for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Over the years, she exhibited remarkable creativity by designing simply fun party kits, making themed birthday celebrations accessible to families on a budget. Her vision expanded as she spearheaded a 4-H Club ranch project, addressing housing needs for livestock projects and fostering community engagement. Luann's commitment extended to mentoring young students for 8 years, guiding them toward their educational and career goals. Ordained as a minister, she celebrated life's milestones with the Interfaith Circle. Currently, she leads an emergency prep and resilience group, prioritizing food and water security, financial literacy, and health education, which is part of ACCOR, Alameda County Committee of Restoration, showcasing her unwavering dedication to community welfare and compassionate leadership. Before we bring Luann up on this stage, I would first like to introduce her nominator, Monica Kellett, to say a few words about Luann. Please welcome Monica.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. It's wonderful to see everyone. And I'm glad that I have the opportunity to say a few words about my friend Luann McKeevery. One outstanding quality about her is that she is public-minded and has a strong passion to preserve the rights that each citizen has in this country. And for this reason, she has often hosted frequent meetings. So at her home, you find dozens of people from all different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds. And it's a wonderful opportunity to do a lot of networking. So that's really, I appreciate that she's doing that. It's so amazing. And so she has also been, like, as it was said before, an active participant of ACOR, Alameda County Committee of Restoration, which teaches the Constitution of the United States. And she is heading up a committee for emergency preparation and resilience. It's so wonderful. I can learn so much from her. She has so many resources and she's willing to share them with everyone in the group. And it's just so fantastic. And I'm always amazed for what she can share with each one of us. And yeah, as you already learned, that she has been a mentor for many, and she has been empowering other people to follow in her footsteps, to also become mentors too. That means a lot. Actually, if you're able and capable of, doing this kind of thing, to just, set an example for others to follow. And so I'm really very inspired, always by Luann. And yeah, I'm so happy for her to receive this award today. Thank you.
Wow, thank you both for such kind introduction. And Monica, thank you so much for your companionship and friendship. I'd also like to thank my family and friends. And congratulations to Vicki and Jane, who share the microphone with me today. I look forward to learning more about your work and life passions. It's an honor to receive this award and stand with so many great and inspiring women, yesterday's, today, and those who will be joining this collection of souls in the future. I'm not alone with my successes. Many other wonderful volunteers have worked with me to accomplish these goals, and I accept this award in their names as well. You both mentioned ACOR in your introduction to me, and ACOR is an ad hoc group of Alameda County, the East Bay of San Francisco, Committee of Restoration, where restoration means restoring the fundamentals of government as designed by our founders. We began with 4 individuals in April of 2020. We had deep concerns of government overreach, using color of law to restrict the free people of America. We offer a donation-based 6-week course study in the United States Constitution as written in 1788, and we believe our freedoms were endowed to us by our Creator: the right to assemble, free speech and expression, and travel without restrictions. Late last year, we expanded our core principles to include resiliency and preparedness. We are our own best teachers, and we organize our committees in this way. With the escalating fighting and war posturing in the Middle East, open borders, U.S. debt growing by $1 trillion a quarter, and weather conditions which threaten our food supply, we decided that we should focus on food, water, energy, health, financial security, and survival skills. We meet weekly to create space in our schedules to become educated in those skills. I'd like to share a few philosophical beliefs that have provided the bridge from idea to completion for myself. Opportunity and complacency are mutually exclusive of one another. They cannot coexist when you're forging a new path. Opportunity comes with challenges, difficulty, self-doubt, stress, and fear. Opportunity rarely presents itself in the usual view in our world, but arises during unusual circumstances. Complacency does not challenge you, nor will it be an expansive experience. When you're looking for a breakthrough solution, opportunity will slowly reveal itself, quiet and subtle at first. As the pieces come together, the path will open before you. And there are times I have viewed opportunity with anger. However, that was my insecurity at stepping up into something I was not yet comfortable with. But when opportunity knocks, as they say, embrace yourself and expand with it. Step up to the challenges that are presented to you. I read a book many decades ago titled Go for No. Yes is the destination. No is how you get there. The book encourages readers to embrace the concept of no as an essential part of their journey towards success. The authors emphasize that the more no's one encounters, the closer you are at achieving your goals. The first section, The Power of No, explores the importance of overcoming the fear of rejection and learning to accept and even embrace it as a natural part of the process. The fear of rejection is normal, natural, but the results that come from pushing through and past them will reveal the fruits of your labor. Tenacity is also an important virtue when you're attempting to make change. It's actually very difficult for people to change their ways, no matter the landscape you can paint in front of them to see a new vision. Courage and tenacity provide the moral strength you may need to persist in your vision and goals. The journey to success can be difficult, and you will go through failures and setbacks. We all do. However, when you feel that life has got the best of you, you need to have the confidence to move on and turn your failures into learning opportunities. Believe in your dreams. In the beginning, you will likely be the only one who can have belief. Always dream big, take consistent action, never give up, think positively, and most importantly, believe in yourself and your vision. No one will until that which is in your mind turns into a physical existence. With the feeding, watering, and nurturing, what was once only a figment in your imagination will be manifested into reality as you become the witness. That leads me to my final words of sage wisdom, and that is faith. Faith that comes from belief in a greater power than yourself and greater than the collection of all souls upon this beautiful planet. The original spark of enthusiasm which set you on your path was offered to you by the collective consciousness of all that is and all that ever will be. With faith, you open your mind to what can be before you, even if you're the only one who sees it. Faith is the telescope that offers you a direction on which to focus. My grandfather in the 40s was very active in the UN, and he was actually part of the founding, not the founding, but the organization of the UN. And I found a speech of his dated 1947, and it included this statement that I'm going to read. It's from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations, and it has in there its preamble, since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. That, more than any time, is now upon us. Wars are picking up, people are hungry, people are hurting. This country hasn't felt that. We've been immune to our efforts in other countries. And we may need to find our resiliency, our ability to provide for ourselves. And I wish that everyone will take care to be prepared for whatever may come our way. It's with love that I close out my message to you. And again, thank you so very much.
Wow. Wow. Let's give Luann a big round of applause.
Well, thank
And
you.
we can actually keep her a bit on the screen. We're going to virtually present you your award. You're going to get this physically in the mail as well. But for now, we'll have it virtually. But I just wanted to really acknowledge some of those last points you were making about where that original spark of enthusiasm comes from. And your grandfather's quote about peace needing to start from within our own minds and our own selves. This is really profound messaging, and we're so grateful for you, Luann and Monica, for giving us this honor to be able to appoint her into the HerStory Award. So if everybody would join me in honoring her, this HerStory Award is proudly presented to Luann McKeefery on this day, January 13th, 2024. I can't believe it's 2024. I have to get used to that. In recognition of your indomitable spirit in championing community welfare, embodying compassionate leadership, and sparking a wildfire of empathy in your community. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. So let's give her a round of applause. Congratulations. It's really our honor to give you this award today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, moving along here, we are up for our next awardee. It is Vicki Latham, founder of Toxin Clear Health Network. Vicki's journey blends a love for dance, entrepreneurial spirit, and a deep commitment to healthcare and humanitarian endeavors. She delved into various networking companies, championing products ranging from skincare to microvascular enhancement therapy, all united under Toxin Clear Health Network, LLC. Beyond business, she has left a mark on global health, spearheading medical missions to Mexico, Guatemala, and Uganda, resulting in the creation of a comprehensive medical clinic in Entebbe. A multifaceted achiever, she was a soloist with Ballet Oklahoma from age 15, winning accolades as Miss El Reno and later earning the Caring Heart Award for their role in establishing a diabetes-free clinic. Her commitment to personal growth is mirrored in programs like The Hero's Journey and a life philosophy centered on seeking nothing less than God's perfect will. With a stellar track record in network marketing and a history of creating impactful teams, she embodies a life driven by passion, purpose, and a profound desire for positive change. Before we bring Vicki up on this virtual stage, I would first like to introduce her nominator, Ms. Shirley Chimes, to give us a few words of why she nominated Vicki for this award this evening. Please welcome Shirley.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being on this call tonight. I'm in Denver and Vicki's in Oklahoma. She had been in Denver for a while, but she's moved back to her home state. Hello, Vicki and everyone. I met Vicki 6 years ago. She came to a church event, and several days before that, I had pulled a ligament in the on my right leg in the back of my knee, and I was dragging my leg around, and I really didn't know if I should go to this event because I was in pain, but I couldn't miss it. And Vicki saw that. Everybody saw me dragging my leg. And afterwards, at the reception, she said 4 words to me. She said, "I can help you." And I was intrigued because it wasn't only the words, it was the twinkle in her eye when she said, "I can help you," because I could see she was so reassured that she could help me. She said, "Come to my home tomorrow. I'll give you a treatment." And I did. and I went about 3 or 4 times, my leg was healed. We became fast friends after that. I went to her home many, many times. But one of the major things that I learned was that she, as a midwife, had birthed over 500 babies. 500 babies. This is phenomenal. And she said most of the time, these women couldn't pay her. And maybe it was with a bag of this or a bag of that if she got paid. And as I went over some of my most famous quotes, these remind me of Vicky. One by Charles Dickens, he said, "No one is useless in the world who lightens the burdens of another." Second is by John Bunyan. "You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who cannot repay you." And Mother Teresa said, "It's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts." So Vicki, on this night, I'm so happy you have accepted this award. And I pray that when you receive it, you'll hang it on your wall. You'll be really excited about it. And nominate someone else, let your friends nominate someone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shirley. Yeah, sure. That's a great story that she brought because we just hit it off as friends, and we've just been friends ever since. And I can always count on Shirley to be there for me when I need her, and she knows likewise. So I was excited to see Luann, and when she began to tell her story, I realized we have some mutual friends that have been in her classes. So we'll have to talk about that later. But it just shows you what a small world it is. And the other thing was, and you talked about the book about accepting the no's, and I've read that book too, but I want to recommend another book that's been one of my favorites, which is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And if you haven't read that, it changed my life. And I didn't want to get up and run over and grab it, but I have it over there, my notes from that book, and I read it about once a year just to be a reminder. But kind of the overall story of it is that fear needs to become your friend, because it's going to be your constant companion on all of your adventures. So if you're going to have adventures, it's going to be scary, and you just have to jump in there and do it anyway. And so when they asked me about some things that I should talk about, they asked me to talk about my biggest challenge, and probably my biggest challenge was that I found myself, I was doing a lot of births, delivering about 12 babies a month, and I decided that with 4 teenagers and a single mom and very little income, I really ought to do something where I can make a little more money. So I decided to become a physician assistant. And so I developed what I call my 5-year plan. And my 5-year plan was 2 years to get my prerequisites, 2 years to go to school, and 1 year to live poor, which I was very used to doing, to live poor and repay all my student loans. So that was my 5-year plan. I completed my 5-year plan, and actually medical school, even though it was intense, was easier than also going to school full time, delivering 12 babies a month and taking care of 4 teenagers on your own. So once I was in school, all I had to do was just school and kids. I didn't have to work, be up all night as well. So that was really the biggest challenge. But one of the things that I love about doing women's health is, and that I loved about delivering babies, was because it is such an empowering opportunity. You've always heard that thing, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. Well, my take is, I brought you into the world, and that means I can handle this. No matter what you bring me, I went through the process. I had you. I can help you. I can take care of you. And so it was always just very empowering to me, childbirth. And I always love to help women to feel empowered through that process, because it's one of those things that people
I mean, you can talk to a 90-year-old person in their nursing home who doesn't know their name, but they can tell you all the details of their childbirth. It's just profound experience for all of us women. And so to get to be a part of that was a huge, huge honor for me. And I delivered babies from women who lived all over the world because I lived in a university town. A lot of them, they only, or their husbands only wanted them to be with women. And I was the only obstetrician basically in town. So, but I had a freestanding birth center, and people would come there, and it was wonderful. It was a great experience, but like I said, like Shirley said, they weren't always able to pay. So I decided that the best thing to do was to go get a place where I could get a real job, and that was really about the only place I ever was. Actually, once I became a PA and I actually got a job with a salary, before that, everything I'd ever done was entrepreneurial. I was a ballet instructor for 19 years, had my own dance studios, choreographed all the recitals, all that stuff, and plus dancing professionally in New York for a while. And so I had, but that's still, you're having to go to auditions, you're still entrepreneurial, you're still putting yourself out there and hearing lots of no's. And so I finally got a real job being a PA, but I've done that for about 30 years. But all at the same time I was doing that, I was also always doing my entrepreneurial things, having my own little business things that I was doing in things that I just really came to believe are important for people to do. And back in 2005, I had a really difficult experience where I felt like I was losing my memory, and there's a lot of Alzheimer's in my family. And I thought that it was, I was just doing that, and I was just getting old. I was only 58 at the time, and that's not a good time to lose your memory. And then I started using some detox agents that got the toxins out. And it turns out, I'm pretty sure it was mercury toxicity. And my memory came back, and my memory's been back ever since. And so when you have something like that happens, that's so profound to you, you have to learn about that, because I can tell you, you learn absolutely nothing about toxicity in medical school. But I immediately put that on my differential diagnosis with every patient as to what their toxins were, what their toxic insults were in their body. And I was able to often help them in ways that other people hadn't, because they had not looked at that part of their life. But anyway, I've been taking care of patients for years, and I love that. And then I have developed marketing teams, and I love building teams, and that's been great too. But the couple things that she wanted me to also, that they had put that they wanted me to do, was to talk about what I feel have been my 3 keys to success. Or not necessarily financial, or success as a famous person, or not fame and fortune at all, but just being success in the amount of impact that I've been able to make in so many people's lives. And my number one thing is that I don't do unforgiveness. I'm very quick to ask for forgiveness when I've done something wrong, and I just don't carry around the weight of unforgiveness. And so much that's going on as far as peace in our world are old, sometimes ancient angers and hatreds and things that where people have been unable to forgive. And sometimes you just have to do that. Doesn't mean that you forget, doesn't mean that you continue being abused, but it does mean that you have to let it go. And when you can start off each day completely fresh, because today is all we have. I mean, the past is gone. It's gone. I can't do one thing about anything I've said in the last 5 minutes. If I don't like what I said on this, it's done. I can't fix it. And so, I just try to live in the now. COVID, I think, really helped me learn to do that even more, getting locked in my house for a few weeks. I just had to say, okay, I'm alive, I can breathe, I'm good. And so it was it was a good lesson for me to realize how much I had learned. about living in the present. And, hopefully I'll have some future, and hopefully the lessons I've learned from the past will help me make better decisions now that will put me on the path to a better tomorrow. But I think I just don't do it. When someone hurts me or I have a bad thing, I just don't allow that to be in my heart, in my mind, unforgiven. And in fact, I even have this little thing I do when I feel it. I just go, and I just do that until whatever that pain is gone. And that's how I get rid of it. And that's how I forgive it. And sometimes people think, well, because we have this sense of justice, inside ourselves, and we think, well, if you forgive them, then who paid? Somebody has to pay for what this person did. And it's like, well, first of all, I mean, it's not like saying, if I forgive you, you didn't do anything wrong. If you didn't do anything wrong, you don't need any forgiveness. No, you did do something wrong, and it does need to be forgiven. But we don't have to hold on to it. We can let it go. It really is okay. And so our sense of justice also doesn't mean I have to take on, okay, if I'm going to forgive you, I have to take on the pain of this, or I have to now do the recompense for this. I have to make it right. No, you don't have to make it right. You just in your heart and mind, you just forgive. And so that's really, I think, the biggest lesson that I've learned in my Sage Femme years here. And the next thing is that, I don't ever give up. When I started my 5-year plan, I never gave up. And so when you develop a goal or a dream that you want, you just keep working at it and learning from it and adjusting it and making the different, as you're going down the path and you come to the forks in the road, if you go down the wrong one, just always pray for lots of red flags if you're on the wrong road, so that you can go back and go the other way. And so, just never giving up. And then the third one is that, I believe that I am, body, mind, and spirit that has been created by God for a purpose. And that everything that I am is a gift from God. And I just see life as this grand adventure. I see people as endlessly curious to see the things they do. And so instead of getting upset about it, I just think, well, that was really strange. It's just kind of fun. I just find fun out of everything. Isn't that right, Shirley?
Yes, you do.
I just find fun out of everything that I do. And I figure out some way to do that. So I think it's just don't take life so serious. Just live your purpose, do the best you can,
Yeah.
and have some fun. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That was fantastic. I mean, Vicky, I think everybody can feel your genuine warmth and joy. And I think the lessons that you just shared, you can see you've lived your life that way. And that's why even through a Zoom call, we can feel that from you. And yeah, I wrote down both the books that Luann and you wrote. I have a lot of driving I'm doing this week, so I'm going to be listening to both of your books this week that you recommended. And I want to say thank you for that. I was looking for books actually today. So as we have Vicky up here, it's my great honor to be able to virtually present you this award. Again, you will get it in the mail, but for now we have it virtually. It says, "This HerStory Award is proudly presented to Vicky Latham on this day, January 13th, 2024, in recognition of your entrepreneurial brilliance, exemplary leadership, and the profound global impact achieved through your medical missions and community building efforts. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love." So let's give Vicky a round of applause. Congratulations. We loved
Thank
hearing
you.
your story.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. This is such an honor. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure, our honor. Thank you.
Awesome. I just love how all of these awards are personalized. It makes it even more precious, right? Remarkable. Thank you so much. And I also wrote down those book recommendations too, because I love reading as well, Kaylee. Anyway, on to our final awardee of the evening. It is Jane Califf. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. Jane is a retired educator and lifelong community activist who has dedicated her life to social causes, from participating in civil rights movement marches to advocating for peace in Vietnam, founding the Anti-Displacement Committee, and contributing to education. She has left an indelible mark. She is the author of How to Teach Without Screaming, inspiring stories, insights, and strategies to help you and your students thrive. Jane continues her impactful work in environmental activism, promoting solar initiatives for a sustainable future. Her commitment to positive change and inspiring the next generation is commendable. Before we bring Jane up to this virtual stage, I would like to bring up her nominator, Ms. Irmgard Baines, to give us a few words about this nominee, Jane. Please welcome Irmgard.
Yes, good evening, and thank you. My introduction to Jane Califf is Peace Starts With Me, kind of the title. So I met Jane for the first time at a local church when she and her husband educated us about monarch butterflies. They also allowed us at that occasion to release monarch butterflies they had raised in their own home. They have their backyard full of milkweed plants so that the monarch butterflies can grow from the larva. And I was so excited and impressed. Later, I learned of her leadership in the Bloomfield Citizens Solar Campaign, and she invited me to support their efforts. I admire Jane's tenacity, perseverance, and creativity with which she advocates for her cause, putting solar panels on public buildings in my town or our town of Bloomfield in New Jersey. In spite of their appeals falling on deaf ears by town officials for several years, she and her civic organization keep on speaking up, doing research, gathering data from other towns and public schools which had already installed solar panels. All this to present a stronger why at the next town council meeting or school meeting. Now, then I found out this is not all. In a recent conversation with Jane, I learned about her long time and multifaceted activism for peace, as you read in her bio. She told me that her parents, a Jewish mom and Episcopalian dad, instilled in her and her siblings that they have only one life to live and to make it as meaningful as possible and to make the world a better place. So already as a teenager, she participated in the historical 1958 and 59 youth marches for integrated schools in Washington, D.C. And then she never stopped being active to make our world a better place. In my eyes, Jane is an extraordinary example of a person showing civic responsibility and ownership, an appeal our founder, Mother Moon, just recently made in a New Year's address. Jane is a true owner of her life, her social and natural environment. Her most recent efforts are all to protect our Mother Earth. I truly applaud Jane for her investment and personal sacrifices for the causes important to her and us all, actually. So congratulations, Jane.
Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction, Irmgard, and it's a pleasure to meet everybody who's spoken so far and the great advice that you're offering to the community and the country. Well, as Irmgard said, I've been an activist since my teenage years in the late 1950s. I was lucky to have that I had supportive and loving parents. So when I learned about the important life choices they made to support social, political, and economic justice causes, I decided that was the path I too would choose. So I was an educator for over 40 years, where I taught at the elementary and alternative high school levels in adult literacy programs that included a prison, and ending as a professor in the Department of Urban Education at Rutgers University in Newark, New Jersey, where I ran the student teacher program. I was always interested in creating a classroom environment that was cooperative, peaceful, and respectful. A few years ago, I finally finished a book that you mentioned here in the introduction. It's about my experiences and those of other teachers, which is entitled, as I'll repeat, How to Teach Without Screaming, Inspiring Stories, Insights, and Strategies to Help You and Your Students Thrive. It can be found on my website, which is www.howtoteachwithoutscreaming.com. And it's an ebook that you can just read. There it is. People can just read it. And my goal is to publish it one day as a paperback. And I've been a peace activist for most of my life, beginning when my mother took me as a teenager to ban the bomb rallies, to stop the testing and perfecting of nuclear weapons. I was active in the Teachers Committee for Peace in Vietnam for many years, as well as other efforts to end wars. I'm now an active member of New Jersey Peace Action, and our causes include calling for an immediate ceasefire in the catastrophic war on Gaza, which we publicize in our weekly vigils. I've also been supportive of ending racism and am a supporter of the People's Organization for Progress, whose main call is for an end to police violence. As the climate crisis became more and more in the news, I decided to, quote unquote, think globally and act locally. And so I became the secretary of a climate education and action group called 350 New Jersey Rockland, which is a local branch of National 350.org. I also joined with others in my town to create the Bloomfield Citizen Solar Campaign. And I've been the coordinator for the last 7 years. As Irmgard said in the introduction, this has been a long effort to convince our town to transition away from getting its electricity from polluting fossil fuels, which are the main drivers of climate disruption, and toward cleaner renewable resources such as the sun. We tried every way we could think of through the years to show how such a decision would not only save tax dollars, but we would be doing our part toward creating a more sustainable and hopeful future for our youth. Finally, last fall, our town hired a company to put solar panels on 2 public parking lots. We will keep pushing for the goal of expanding this project to every other Bloomfield town and school roof and parking lot deemed appropriate for solar. In my long life of activism, I have attended many meetings, rallies, marches, lobbied legislators, wrote articles, and letters to the editor. But some of these efforts also included risking arrest in nonviolent civil disobedience actions, which I only engaged in with others when all other avenues failed. I've been willing to take such risks because they can be helpful in getting more media attention to a cause. Although a life like mine has had its challenges, I've found joy in uniting with other like-minded people to make a more just world possible, and many of these people have become good friends. I'm really glad that the Women's Federation for World Peace is promoting and honoring women whose life choices can inspire others to become agents of positive change. So thank you. I really enjoyed being part of this program.
Wow. Let's give Jane a round of applause. I mean, so much consistent effort and investment. And I love that the spark for everything you've done came from your parents as well, that this has been passed down as a legacy, and you're passing this legacy down even to us here on Zoom. We thank you so much for your incredible investments in the community, and thank you, Irmgard, for such a great nominator here. So here's our virtual presentation. Again, you'll get this in the mail more formally, but here it is. It says, this HerStory Award is proudly presented to Jane Califf on this day, January 13th, 2024, in recognition of your trailblazing social activism, impactful work as an educator, and your critical environmental advocacy shaping a brighter and more sustainable future. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. Let's give Jane a warm round of applause. Congratulations. We're so grateful to be able to.
Thank you.
Wonderful. This has been an incredible HerStory Award event for this month of January. Just a few announcements before we leave this call. I want to just invite you, if you are not already a member of the Women's Federation for World Peace, we are inviting you to join this group of amazing women who are doing such incredible and such needed work in our communities. We are just moved by what was shared this evening and empowered by that. We are an organization that really believes education is key, right? We always have to work with making people aware and exposing issues that people are not necessarily aware of. And so we have educational opportunities, like even this evening, you know, just by all the stories that were shared, there were so many precious nuggets that I took notes on. I have notes from every HerStory Award that I've taken from the advice that was given and shared. But it starts with education. So we really want to educate women leaders, just again, coming from the heart, building this community through the logic of love. So we have amazing opportunities like webinars, small groups, so much more. So I invite you to please check out the link. It will be in the chat box below. And we make it really easy for you too. So there are tiers when it comes to membership. You can choose what is right for you at this moment. And what better time than now, the beginning of a new year, to start something fresh and become a recurring, ongoing member of Women's Federation for World Peace. The next announcement I would like to share with you is that there will be a GWPN seminar January 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The theme is self-expansion, what it takes to achieve your dreams. That sounds like an incredible topic. So please, if you want to be a part of that, please register for that webinar that is coming up. And also, if you were inspired by these women and you were thinking, oh, I know somebody that would be wonderful for this event to be nominated for this HerStory Award, you are welcome to nominate a women leader in your community. Again, the link for that will be in the chat box to nominate for the next or future HerStory Awards. And that is all that we have for you this evening. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here to share in just amazing company. And we hope that you have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you next month for the HerStory Award event.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.